Anyway, hi friends and family.
Afternoon.
We thought we would just do a sit-down video updating everybody on what's been going on, because we have been getting a lot of questions and it's quite hard to keep everybody updated, especially when we don't have signal most of the time. But we did do some footage from the very beginning, but we didn't realise that the audio wasn't really working. It would cut off randomly, or if you turn on the camera, it wouldn't get like the first two sentences of what you're trying to say. And we couldn't get it fixed straight away because we were just not in places that had the equipment for it. So it took a while. We got it fixed, and there was a lot happening, obviously, still adjusting to everything. So a lot was missed of what we've been doing. So yeah, we thought we'd just sit down and update everybody on what's been going on. We made some notes as we went along. Well, we are on like day 18 now. So 18 days worth of stuff, and not a single day went with no event. So
yeah, it hasn't been boring, that's for sure.
No, there's a lot that went wrong, and we feel like everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong.
We're just going to sort of rattle off what's been going on. So first night we were in Baldivis. Yeah, we stayed at a caravan park there. Everything was great, towed well, everything went fantastic. Well, actually the morning of, we had some electrical faults with the car, caravan. And that was fun, wasn't it, Darren?
No, we were 2.5 hours behind schedule. Because yeah, the indicators, the indicators weren't really communicating with the car's indicators. So what happened, like you turn one on and then they would all start flashing, or none of them would work, but it would all just like turn on and stay stagnant. But yeah,
it was just a convenient headache to have happen on the first day. But that aside, we troop it on. Turns out something happened when we moved and the lights are now working perfectly fine. So credit to a 40-year-old van's wiring. Anyways,
TowPro too.
TowPro is another story. When we settle down a bit quicker and a bit more in Palubi, we're going to get someone in to have a look at it. It's just not recognizing the electric brakes on the caravan. It's throwing up an error. But again, another wiring fault. But so we got to Baldivis pretty fine after that. Pretty straightforward. We went to Byford for the afternoon to have lunch, or dinner, with friends and family who we hadn't had a chance to say goodbye to before we left. Oh, I wish I knew what was happening in the time that we were at that sort of get together. I would have been enjoying myself so much. So we come back and Mish comes into the bedroom of the caravan and just sees this wet patch on the bed. For reference, it was a storm. There was a really big storm that passed over us, and for 6 weeks prior we hadn't had any leaks. We've been living in it full time, and we had weathered quite some rain.
There was some crazy storms, even just like parking up at my mum's place where we lived there for 6 weeks. We had some pretty crazy storms there too, and not a single leak. But yeah, when I came in, it was leaking like this light. I don't know if it's even seen on camera, but this light here was dripping down. All four corners of the hatch was dripping down, and we collected, what, about like 5 litres of water?
There, not including what had soaked into the blankets and the pillows and the ground and all that being said. About 4.5 litres, 5 litres was in our washing tub that we have down on the ground here. And that was over the course of the night. So it really wasn't fun. We tried to, did we try and sleep after that? In the bed? No, we didn't, because it was soaked.
No, remember we did, because we changed the bedding, and then you got woken up because it was dripping on you. And then I was like, that's fine, your loss, I'll just stay.
Oh yeah, right,
I'll
okay.
just stay here.
Yeah. So
and then it started dripping on me too.
So yeah, to that point, I got woken up because it had dripped so much, it dripped through our feather down blanket and it was touching me. So I kind of cracked the dummy, spat the dummy basically, and I went and slept on the couch that we have. Anyway, not what, half an hour later, Mish is out there. She's got all of the dry linen and all the dry pillows just stacked up on the ground for a makeshift mattress, and we were just like, we were just over it. To top it all off, the awning ripped. So we up and left, by the way, just to cut that kind of to a conclusion. We up and left the next day as soon as we could. We got up, we didn't even have anything dry. We just got up, packed up, and married on over to the next place, which was Bunbury.
Yeah, well, all our linen was on the floor because we needed to get to the first laundromat to wash everything because it was soaked. And when we left Baldivis, we saw what the storm had actually done, and everything was just flooded, the roads were flooded, all the fields were flooded, everything was just underwater basically.
Kind of felt like a marshy swamp driving past what should be really beautiful open WA fields. Just felt like a swamp.
Yeah, so we decided to head down to Bunbury, which is going to be our next stop anyway, but we had a look at the weather forecast and it said it's going to be sunny. So we were only supposed to stay there one night, but we decided to stay 2 nights because Rhodey got up on the roof and did some resealing and we needed it to dry properly before we get hit with rain again. So that's why we stayed there 2 nights.
We really got to credit Sikaflex. I reckon we should have done an endorsement deal with them. I think I've used about 20 tubes on this van. But so on our little merry way going down to Bunbury, we're still quite new at this. I'm going to throw you under the bus. We're still very new at this, and someone forgot to lock up the fridge. And 2 days prior to that, I had made some very juicy pickled red onions.
It was really yummy.
They were really good, but bugger me. Where were we? Did we pull over for a routine check, or was it the farmer's market?
No, somebody waved us down saying our awning was flipping.
Oh man! So we're like we're not even in Bunbury. We're like
just like 20 minutes after we left.
yeah, we're 20 minutes out of Perth basically. Probably haven't even reached Mandurah. Somebody's flagging us down, saying our awning is just something's wrong with it. So we pull over, and obviously hence the awning ripped. It's got into some sort of a pocket, the wind, and it's just tore half it off, and it's just flapping about on the roof and stuff. So I get out and I do my my qualified caravan maintenance, and I cut that bastard off.
Yeah, I just opened the door, and then I just stood there. I just looked at it because I saw that the fridge had opened and all of its contents came out, including the nice pickled onions I already made. And it all soaked into our bedding that was on the floor. Because remember, we were going to take it to the laundromat, so it's just sitting on the floor, and it all soaked into our bedding. All this vinegary, pickly, oniony smell, everything into our bedding. And then Rhodey was just like, well, get in there, because I was just standing there with the door open, just like mind blown at what I was seeing. I was like,
It was like, it was shocking to say the least. The smell was so strong. But yeah, we opened the door and my mind just processed it straight away, and I was like, cool, this is what we got to do it. And Mish just like stone frozen.
I think because at that point I was like, come on, what else?
It can't be that. It can't be something else. So we get to Bunbury, no troubles at all. After all of that, that smell took like 2 days to leave the caravan. We get our clothes in the laundromat. Everything's all sweet now. We get all washed, and we part dry things because we just didn't have time. Spent 2 days in Belvedere. I resealed the roof. We had to hang up the washing several times leading into day 3 and day 4
4 days
to try and dry it. This weather is just shocking.
Yeah, the weather from the very beginning had us on a very bad luck streak there, but it took 4 days for our bedding to dry. But yeah, Belvedere was actually beautiful, by the way. It was really nice. Like the wildlife there was pretty incredible.
Really, really nice.
It was so green, and we just had like these parrots that kept coming and saying hi, and kookaburras and kangaroos. We made the trip down to Quinninup, which is close to Pemberton. We never actually stopped at Pemberton, but we went past this town called Manjimup. It was actually really great. Like we found this really big playground that we spent probably like 2 hours there.
Eli and we all just were big kids. We all just brought out in a child at this playground. Don't know how they got the funding for it.
Yeah, because it's a very small town. And then there was this like little historical part where we could see what that town...
Oh, the colonial times.
Yeah, how they lived in the
colonial
very early 1900s, which is pretty incredible to see. And the, what was it, the old road trains and...
Oh yeah, all of those steam trains and stuff that were hauling the logs and all that back then.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Eli loved it.
And he still talks about the playground. When he talks about, I want to go to the big playground, he talks about that one. So we're yet to find one to match that.
Yeah, no, I don't think we ever will. The slide, for comparison, was about 5 stories high, and Eli was straight into it. No heat, no fear, no nothing. Being forward, we arrive in Quinninup. We met our hosts of the farm stay. Wonderful people, beautiful farm. We'll move forward for that very shortly.
We were very excited for it when we got there, and the views are incredible. And Rhodey and Eli did get quite a bit done on the farm, and Eli loved it. He loved it so much. And for the most part, like if the sun came out, they would be out on the farm doing stuff, but it would not last long. Like as soon as we feel like we caught a break, where it's just blue skies, not a single cloud, what, like 10 minutes later, it
Not even.
pissing down with rain.
It was very hard to maintain motivation because like having a small drizzle in the middle of the day, okay, cool, you know, cut your luck, have some lunch, get back out there. But this was on and off. It was weird. It wasn't typical stuff that we kind of used to. And only being not even 400 k's from Perth, we figured, okay, we'll share the same kind of weather. But yeah, like Mish said, we did get some stuff done. We cleaned out a chicken pen and we maintained feeding the animals, and we did some prep work for them and stuff like that, cut up some logs. But Eli to this day still asks to ride the motorbike.
Yeah,
but
the quad bike.
But the downside to it all was, even though Eli and I were getting out and doing things and stuff, Riley's too young for me to play piggyback on the quad bike or, you know, help out. Really, he's still crawling, so he's quite bound. Mish and Riley were 3 days bound in the caravan, give or take. There were some moments where they didn't come out, but you know, 3 days in a caravan, crappy weather, no awning, kind of built up on you.
That was the other part, because we didn't have an awning. It's not like we could just sit outside.
Well,
but the winds as well. It's like we were in cyclones. Like the winds was incredible. So like I'm not afraid of that kind of stuff, but I can't take Riley out in that. So I had to stay inside with Riley. And it started to really get to him as well, you can tell, because every time anybody would come in or out the van and close the door, he would lose it, because he just wanted to be outside.
He adopted this bush kid lifestyle
Very quickly.
Oh man. The awning, at this point, we don't have an awning anymore. At this point, had suffered 2 or 3 days of just straight, like 40-kilometer winds, or at least what felt like it. So the pocket that had got created on the road, the tear from the door, the brittleness of the 12 years, it was 12 years old, 12 years that it's been on there, it inevitably just succumbed to its fate, and I ended up having to cut every part of it off of the actual barrel and caravan. So that, like, it wasn't even like we had half an awning or something to work with. We legit had no awning. So that's enough about the farm. So we did some shopping online, found a certain price. We were very happy with it. And then I called a couple of places to see if they would fit it for me. Perhaps it would be cheaper. That being said, very appreciative that we got somebody else to put it on. And they also let us know that the springs inside the barrel needed to be replaced because the barrel wasn't receding, which meant that
that's why we had to do it manually. And we thought it was normal. It's just an old van. That's how you do it.
You know, she's Lucy.
Yeah.
She's old. She's old as hills.
But we did have to go back up to Bunbury to get that fixed, which meant double backing, because we came from Bunbury. Okay, went down to Quinnup and had to go back because it was the closest place in our surroundings that could do it in a timely fashion as well, because we did find someone in the area that could do it, but he could only get it done in like a week's time.
And then there was shipping and freighting and that after. He wanted to quote it in a week's time. So it was looking like a 2-week turnaround just to get the fabric here. But Bunbury, they said, bring it to us Monday, we'll have you out before lunch. We were out before 2 o'clock that afternoon. So while we were in Bunbury, we sort of made the call to not return to the farm stay, being that the weather was not going to improve, and the leaks, I think we did suffer some more water leakage through it. So part of me thinks it's actually the flaps and not the seals, but that's part for another day that we're going to get up to.
Or just the hatch,
Yeah, the hatch itself.
Like it wasn't that bad, like it wasn't like sleeping on the floor kind of thing. We did have to put a bucket down to catch it, but when the rain passed, it passed. Like it just stopped, and then so Rody was just sitting at the end of the bed waiting for the rain to stop.
This was like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had to sit there for like an hour. I did not like it at all.
Yeah, so we ended up just like watching TV while it passed, and when it did, we're like, cool, take the bucket down, get back to bed, and off we went to sleep.
Well, you went to sleep. I can't sleep once I wake up.
Yeah.
Anyway, after we got the maintenance done, we had a phone call from a really close friend of ours in Bunbury who we did stop in for briefly before we went to Quinnup, and they offered up their driveway to us for a night, which was really, really nice because we took that opportunity to reseal parts of the outside of the caravan after, you know, like I sealed it before we moved, so this was prior to our trip. So once it moved a little bit, it kind of needed the little little ends here and there done. So it was a
Yeah.
nice opportunity.
Yeah, Flicky called me and he was like, I think this is what the problem is, because you guys sealed it when it was stationary, and now that you're moving, there's a lot of stuff moving around and water getting into cracks and things. So I think he was right, because we haven't, apart from that one time of it leaking a little bit, we haven't had any fixes.
Yes.
Yeah, when we were in Bunbury, thank you Mac and Tracy for
Yes.
offering us your driveway, because they were more than accommodating.
He even went as far as taking us, because obviously Collie was our next stop afterwards. He even went as far as taking us 30 k's out of town in his own van, and I had to cart along because I had the kids, taking us to an unmarked free camp in a certain area in Collie, which was fan-bloody-tastic.
Yeah, we're still not quite sure where it is.
No,
because we kind of
it's-
just had to, we followed along, and then I just took a screenshot of where we were on like Google Maps to know how to find it again, because we didn't even quite know where we were.
Is it near Wellington Dam?
It was past Wellington Dam,
Oh well,
past the gorge and everything.
it's not it's not something you would know unless you speak to a local.
Yeah, Mac insisted that we sleep on the driveway for the night in the van, and yeah, we thought that that's what it's gonna, like, that's it. But then Tracy messaged me saying dinner's at 6, and we were like,
Oh,
we were not expecting dinner as well. That's amazing.
That was a godsend.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
And then had us have showers, and
We got a washing and a dryer.
yeah,
Woo.
get our washing done. So
We're only like 4 days in, so we're really appreciative of it.
yeah, no, that was amazing. Thank you guys so much. That really helped us out. But yeah, then we went to Collie that next night, and that was pretty incredible too. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that kind of darkness, I hadn't
That was
seen.
dark.
I hadn't seen that since we were living on a farm in Charters Towers. That me. That darkness is dark.
Yeah, like when you step outside, you can't even see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
It's so dark, and it was really cloudy as well, so you couldn't see any stars. You couldn't see the moon, and because you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no street lights, literally nothing.
There was no light pollution. It was
No.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So from Collie, we drove 4 hours to Albany.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 4 hours. It was basically a whole day's travel. We did stop a few times. I don't think we stopped anywhere notable. We just stopped to like pitch up at a campsite or something to have lunch and help the boys stretch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
The
we
kids
were
have been fantastic.
We basically just drove inland, and we passed through so much rapeseed fields, and it just
Oh.
stretched kilometers
Actually-
and kilometers and kilometers.
After talking to old mate here, it's for
oil.
canola oil actually.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you'll see, a lot of the farmland you'll see coming sort of over to the Nullarbor from Albany is rapeseed flowers, wheat, barley.
And we saw all of that.
Yeah, it was as far as the eye could see that, and then you've got livestock, sheep and cows. It's pretty much all it is coming across over to the Nullarbor.
Yeah, well, because we went inland, like I think if we went coastal, like past Margaret River, Bustleton, all that kind of stuff to get down to Albany, it would have been completely different. But because we're already in Collie, which is already inland from Bunbury, we just cut down from there. So wasn't a whole lot. It was just basically what he just described. But still really glad we did it, because those flowers were awesome. They were beautiful.
Yeah, we didn't know we were going to see them if we had gone the coastal route.
Also missed our turn.
I kind of missed our turn.
Yeah, and because we're in a caravan, we couldn't just turn around on
We-
single lanes.
We could turn around 40 kilometers down the track,
Yeah.
but it wasn't kind of worth it. We just want to, away from the travel. Prior to this, my best biltong for my South Africans was Cape Cairo and Perth. If you're up anywhere near Mindari, shout out to that store. Go and see Tani Henrietta. It's brilliant. But unfortunately, they go number 2.
We found the best biltong ever.
You have to eat it the same day. We tried vacuum sealing it and it kind of lost its flavor.
Yeah, the
But,
flavour
yeah.
got stuck to the bag,
Yeah.
which was really disappointing, because we tried it. He actually went in first because the kids were sleeping, so I went in the car. He came back and I tried it. I was like, what is this?
It was fatty, wet biltong soaked in something.
That seasoning they had on there was just amazing. And I said to Brody, I was like, I need to go get some of that. So I went in and I got some, and I came back and I was like, Brody, I think this is the best biltong I've ever had.
I'd
And-
had like half my bag at this point.
And he went back, he was like, I'm going back for a kilo. I was like, that's not in the budget, my dude. And he was
Yeah.
like, well, when is the next time we're going to be in Albany? I was like, you've got a point there.
Yeah,
So-
but before that, to my defense, the next South African related store
Isn't it over
is
east?
it's over in like Adelaide or Melbourne.
Yeah.
So like, for someone who lives next to a South African store for like 3 years.
Yeah.
We can't do without it.
Yeah.
Where are we
so
gonna
we
get
got
our tangy mayo?
excited. The shop's called the Slice of Africa, by the way.
Yeah.
If anybody ever goes down to Albany, the Slice of Africa, best
Yeah.
biltong ever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we tried to save it, and the biltong itself kept really well, but the seasoning just came off in the bag, so it lost that flavour, which is really disappointing. But it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
We supported local.
Absolutely, far too much by the sounds of it. So for our campground that night, we went to a commonly known free campground, but unfortunately it hadn't been updated on Wikicamps or anywhere that as of December last year they had installed a payment process. So it's $15 a night, and that's called the Cozy Corner East Campground. Now it is a beautiful campground. We're talking like
Right on the beach.
right on, like, yeah, if you're tent camping or car rooftop camping, you camp 10 meters from the walkout to the beach.
Yeah.
If you're in a caravan, you're like
It's a little bit
35.
further up.
Yeah, you're like 50 meters away.
Yeah, but a lot of those campers don't actually know that you're supposed to pay, because everywhere that I looked, it all said free. So I was like, sweet, that's all good. But when we came in, it said fees applicable,
Yeah.
like fees applied or something like that. And I was like, what do you mean? So we parked up. I went to go have a look, and it said from December 2022.
Oh,
So
a year and a bit ago.
almost 2 years that it's been updated. It's got this little pay station where you put your registration in and you pay for it. It's really cheap. For 2 adults, 2 kids is $15 a night, which is still really affordable, but it's just so they can still keep up the grounds. You know, somebody's
Yeah.
still got to maintain it, and it's not free to do that. So it completely makes sense. But yeah, I think people just not aware of that, because even the lady that we saw, she also traveler. She travels solo. She didn't even know that you're supposed to pay for it, and she had already been there a couple of nights at that point.
Yeah, so, but to be fair, it has functional toilets or a long drop?
No, it's a long drop, but it's clean.
Yeah.
Very clean, I will say. It was very clean.
It was a
Okay.
really beautiful campsite. We moved on to Hopeton. Now, Hopeton's quite small. We didn't do very much. We found a 48-hour rest stayover by the beach there for self-contained vehicles. Now, I forgot to set up the grey water tank when we got there. I was really excited to just finally get out of the car, and Eli was just fiending for the beach. So I forgot to set up the grey water tank, and I let out a little bit of a discharge of grey water after I'd done the dishes. And you should have seen my face when I turned to Mish, and I was just like, what have I done? And I forgot to clean it up before we went to the beach. Anyway, the ranger came around, and this gentleman was really nice about it. He educated us on what the true meaning of self-contained vehicle is. So you just have to have a plumbed in grey water tank. Now, if it's an external portable one, we just had to have something with a valve on it that we can shut off. But anyway, he was really nice about it. We didn't cop a fine, but you can get fined $125. He advised us to just clean it up, put it in the bin. And I'm talking like a couple of specks of porridge, but it's still the principle, is that if one person slides, then everybody's sliding.
Yeah, but it's reasons like that why free camps are getting shut down.
Absolutely.
Because people are not looking after it, and it ruins it for everybody else.
That being said, talk to your locals. Everybody we watch has said talk to the locals, and we will advocate that as well. And we'll go on further about it when we get to our days in Streaky Bay and stuff like that. So talk to your locals. Information centre, pubs, hit them up. You want to find anywhere to go, they're the people to talk to. So I'm gonna just make myself a drink. What do you think?
No, thank you. So yeah, we stayed at Hopeton, and we were only there for a rest night, basically. Didn't really have much there for us to really stick around. Also, we just wanted to get to Esperance, which was going to be our next stay, and I did have a stay lined up for it, which is a free stay. But when I put it in, for some reason, when I had a look at Google again, it said it's not free. So I just started looking into it, and then we found out it's actually really difficult to find free stays in Esperance. So we called up the council in Esperance and was like, is there any free stays in Esperance at all? And she was like, nope. So Esperance doesn't actually have any free camps at all. Yeah, that was actually pretty informative to know, but also really disappointing, because Esperance is one of those places people say you have to stop in, and you have to spend a couple of days there, but we just didn't have, it wasn't in our budget. And also because Esperance is such a big tourist attraction. It's very overpriced for everything, and most campsites are already booked out. So we decided to just gun it up to Norseman.
Well, it's $57 for a single night at Lucky Bay, including the national park fees, which, looking back on it, we should have taken it just because of, I mean, it is Lucky Bay, but
Yeah, but the weather was still
pretty shocking.
I don't think we would have got this experience from it that we would have liked to anyway. But yeah, it ended up being $62 in total for us just to have a little piece of land basically to camp on, with no amenities, anything included. So we decided, let's just go to Norseman and start the Nullarbor early, because we gave ourselves from the 2nd to the 9th of September to finish the Nullarbor.
Well, even before that, we had initially said when we were in Bunbury, we'd give ourselves 1 week to get to the Nullarbor, which was Norseman.
Yeah, 1 week to get there and then 1 week to complete it. So because we skipped Esperance and everything, we were just gunning it at this point. We didn't actually make it to Norseman in time for sunset, so we just pulled up at the first free camp we could find, which happened to be what was it, like an open field or like foresty or something that had just recently burned down.
Yeah, it was
like a bushfire.
Basically what it is it's to get to the free camp, you pull off on the dirt road off of the main road going to Norseman. But like Mish said, yeah, it was recently burned down, and it's a gum tree eucalyptus kind of area, and boy did that feel eerie.
Yeah,
that
was very
creepy.
Like ominous.
Yeah, you've got no live like bush life around you.
It's just dark black.
Just dark and black and
yeah, so that was not fun. We tried to make it to the next one, but that one was like 20 minutes away, and unfortunately Riley just could not hold on anymore. Like that 7-minute drive to finding this one was already quite difficult to manage because Riley just had enough at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just pulled in there, stayed there, and then the next morning showed up to Norseman, and that's the start of the Nullarbor. We started the Nullarbor on the 31st of August and finished on the 2nd of September.
Goodness me, did we gun through that.
Yeah, so we finished it on the day that we were supposed to start it.
Yeah, no, the Nullarbor is Norseman to Ceduna, which is about 1,200 kilometers, and we weren't trying to get it done quickly, but by the end of it, we're really glad we pushed 300-400 kilometer days out of our backsides, basically, and that the boys were so accommodating to that.
Yeah, we were gonna do 2-hour stops. So we drive 2 hours, stay at a campsite, because we had all our campsites mapped out.
Yep.
So we're gonna drive 2 hours, stay the night, drive 2 hours, stay the night. But by the time we had actually stopped to stay the night, we had skipped through 3 of the campsites we were actually gonna stop at.
Yep.
Because the first one we had all intention to stop there, but it was completely off-road, bumpy, corrugation and everything. So we're like, Lucy can't do that, so we're just going to go to the next one. But as we were driving, we're like, well, the boys seem completely fine, so let's just keep going, see how far we can go until we have to stop.
But at this point, we decided that the boys would be our telltale when to stop. Yeah. And they kind of set the parameters for our travel days. Mm-hmm. But that being said, though, everything's free camp, and there's like 100 of them. So day 2, we crossed the border. Is that right? Day 2 in the afternoon, we crossed the border, or was it day 3?
No, it was day 2 because that night we camped out on the Great Australian Bight.
Yes.
On the best campsite ever.
Oh.
This Marker 52 on the Bundercliff.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
It was really beautiful, and it has to top our camp spots. It's just the views were unparalleled. You're on the southernmost side of Australia on the Nullarbor, part before Ceduna, and honestly, it is breathtaking.
It was. I didn't sleep at all that night because it happened to be a very, very, very windy night. It was so windy.
Yeah.
And the van was just rocking. We thought that the door was going to fly off.
I slept.
He slept. And
until like
how.
2 o'clock. And then at 2 o'clock, we were awake.
Yeah, I was just up all night. I was trying to play games on my phone. There was no reception. Couldn't watch anything. Couldn't talk to anybody. Literally nothing. So I just started playing games on my phone. And I really wanted to watch the sunrise. So I was out there like 6:30 in the morning, just sitting like at the edge of the cliff, just waiting for the sunrise. And it was breathtaking. Like, it was worth not sleeping that night. It was amazing.
Yeah, agreed. Outside of that, we made it across, no dramas at all. We were under the impression that on the Australian border there was going to be quarantine. We have to go through and like get rid of fruit and veg and stuff, but there was nothing there.
There was nothing. It was only coming from South Australia to WA.
Yeah.
So we thought.
Yeah, but we continued on, and had we known, like, they did say quarantine was X amount of Ks after we got closer, but it's at Ceduna. Just 2 Ks outside of Ceduna is where the quarantine zone is for people coming into WA.
Yeah, so we just stopped in Penong to have some lunch, and we decided to like get rid of as much fruit and veggies as possible. So we made like a little platter, but wasn't. I mean,
it wasn't enough.
No, it didn't get rid of everything. So yeah, we thought we skipped it all earlier, but yeah, when we got to Ceduna, they're like, "Did you come from WA?" We're like, "Yeah." Should we check your van? Yeah.
Did you get a photo of that platter?
Yeah.
Here's the photo.
That was amazing. But yeah, so when we got to Penong, you kind of veer off a little bit and you go down to Lake McDonald, which is a pink lake, and it was pretty immaculate. It was
Beautiful.
really nice. Eli and I got out to have a look at the pink water, and I tasted.
I want to lead up to this with the fact that Eli craves salt. He loves his salt. Every time I whip out our salt, he's like, I want a little bit.
Salty.
Did you just eat it? Are you eating a rock?
No.
What are you eating?
Eating salt.
I think you're eating a rock, puppy. Don't eat that. That's sad. And then we got in the car. I didn't realise till like a little while later that he had taken off his shoes and he was eating the salt off of his shoes. And I was like, dude, that's too much salt for your little boys. I was like, drink this water. So I just like trying to get him as much water in him. Because I was like, at this point, I didn't even know how much salt he's eaten.
Oh. So we did that. We stopped in Penong and had a look at, pardon me, we had a look at the windmills there.
That was pretty cool.
I wasn't part of that. I went to do a water fill up. After that, we moved on to Ceduna and did the quarantine thing.
We did some more shopping there to get some fishing gear, some snorkeling gear. Other than that, Ceduna's not really for us. Didn't excite us. Wasn't anything in there that we needed to really stay around for.
Yeah, for me, I probably wouldn't ever go back to Ceduna or free camp there. I would just push on an extra 30 kilometers and get to somewhere like
any one of the bays.
Any one of the
are really
bays.
great here. We were going to actually bay hop because we decided to get to our free camp. I mean, our current farm stay a little bit earlier, but we wanted to give ourselves a couple of days first.
Yeah.
And then we were going to bay hop. There's plenty of bays down here, and South Australia actually has 3 peninsulas.
Yeah, there's the York Peninsula, the Eyre Peninsula, and the Fleurieu Peninsula.
Yeah. But
which we will do all 3.
Yeah. But yeah, so we ended up seeing all these amazing campsites, and we did go to them. Lucy came with us. She did really well on those off-roads.
I want to take a moment here. Sorry to cut you off. In Point Brown, anybody who's got a full drive or is free camp in the area, Point Brown is the place to go to. Everything else is a conservation park, and it does cost money. But Point Brown is 20 kilometers of off-road, corrugated road, and once you get there, it is full driving territory.
Yeah.
But
there's so many sub roads that you can take. So many free camps. And we did find a couple of good locations, but unfortunately the wind was an issue again because we had almost 40-kilometer winds last night, and I was like, I don't really want to go another night with no sleep, with the van shaking up like crazy. So we decided to come to our farm stay a little bit earlier.
But Brown Point, fantastic. In fact, we might even do a day trip up there to go forward driving.
I really want to go to the rock pools still.
Yeah.
We were actually meant to stay at the rock pools, but yeah, again, the wind.
We just chalked it up to a loss. Unless we're going back for a forward drive, we probably wouldn't take Lucy there, because after we pulled up to put air in the tires, we opened up the freaking caravan.
It was like a dust cloud in here.
Someone's got a fog machine going, that's how cloudy it was.
Our smoke alarm went off, thinking it was smoke. It was crazy. I didn't even know that could happen. But yeah, it was just dust everywhere, and we were stopping to blow everything out, vacuum everything, and dust everything off, and it was quite crazy. Like, she's not made for off-road.
No.
Somebody likes to push the limit.
Hey. No
but
blame
in
you.
saying that, she actually did pretty great.
Yeah, like, she handled it. She handled the corrugations. We dropped tire pressure just to kind of save the conditions of the road. But unfortunately, Lucy's not fitted with a dust suppression kit or dust suppression system, and we have a lot of well-neglected seals on this caravan that clearly still need to be fixed up. So if we're doing high-speed dusty areas, I wouldn't take her there. But on the 29th, to the 29th of September to the 3rd of October, we're taking Lucy onto the Paloobi Beach beachfront campground.
We have friends that's coming, currently making their way down from up north. They've got it booked out there and they've convinced us to come join them, so we're excited to do that. And then today we decided to do some exploring. It was actually kind of crazy weather. It was 31 degrees, but it was really windy and
Slightly
cloudy
rainy.
and rainy. Like, it was really weird. But we went to the talked to some locals and they said to do the 2 loops, which
Yes,
was
talk to your
the
locals.
Cape Bower Loop Drive, which we did today, and we got to see some whistling holes and blowholes, but the tide wasn't actually high enough for the blowholes, so maybe try that one again another day. And then tomorrow I'm going to try out the Westall Way Loop Drive, but it's actually pretty great.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And what else did we do today? We drove across Paloobi Beach in preparation, just to have a look, and it built my confidence even more that Lucy can handle it.
I'm not quite sure just yet.
Oh,
he's the driver.
Well,
so.
yeah. Brucey ate that beach up like no tomorrow. Now, I wasn't going fast, but he just didn't have any issues at 37 psi. So when we drop down to 18, he's gonna pull Lucy like no tomorrow.
We'll
And when-
keep
and
you
when-
updated on
and-
how that goes.
And when he does, I finally get the reassurance from the wife.
I actually would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong here, but
We do have all recovery gear, recovery points, and four-wheel drive recovery tracks. So should anything go wrong, we can get ourselves out.
yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
that's the plan. Oh, and we also stopped at this really cool bakery called Elliot's Bakery.
Oh, shout out to Elliot's Cafe and Bakery in town at Streaky Bay.
So amazing. So we actually, when we were in Bunbury, we found these donuts, this custard donuts that they make there at the Bunbury Farmers Market. Thought it was the best in the world. It was so good. We went back 3 times
I
for
think
it.
we got like 4
We-
different servings of donuts.
We went back there, so we're like, well, we're not going to be here again for a long time. And actually found some today that topped that. So,
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
So, our best pies prior to this is like Jester pies. You know,
no, Cowtown.
Oh, Cowtown. Sorry, Cowtown's pie is pretty damn good. Jester's pie's coming in third. But first, I have to say Elliot's Bakery and Cafe. I had a potato top pie and a steak, bacon and cheese, and they were amazing.
I can't have pies, but
I let her have some.
Rody had let me have some of his, and I will agree, it was pretty damn amazing. It was so good.
And everybody in Streaky Bay is so nice.
So,
So nice. So nice that we spent $100 at a bakery.
what? My total ended up being like $13. How did we almost spend $100 at the bakery?
But support local, and those places will continue to stick around. We are here for 3.5 months. We did push to get here quite quickly. It is a paid opportunity on top of a farm stay opportunity and a caravan park stay.
Yeah, free accommodation was helped. Like it's saying, like we do try push for those free camps. And in the 18 days we were traveling, we've only paid $107 for accommodation, which we think is pretty okay. We think that's pretty okay. And then everything else has been free camps, which is obviously what we're pushing for. And sure as hell beats paying $500 in rent every week.
Absolutely. That's pretty much it for our trip so far. We currently reside near Streaky Bay. We're here for 3 months. After this, we go on the York Peninsula, travel to and past Adelaide onto the Fleurieu Peninsula,
Yeah.
onto our next day. But in the interim, we're doing some work here, fitting out an off-grid bus and doing a bit of
farm work.
doing a bit of farm work. Tomorrow, I'm helping process some lamb from a last week cull that they did, and we get some free lamb out of it. So, yeah, that's. You want to wrap it up? or-
Yeah, that's basically it. It's
Pretty
not
much
just a not so quick update on everything that's been happening the last 18 days.
Yeah, that
and-
bloody footage though, it just has no audio.
Yeah, and for anyone that's wondering, the boys are doing absolutely fine. They love it. They've adjusted pretty much already.
We've unofficially adopted a cat called Tut, who came to stay in our caravan. Tut is named by Riley, and Riley and Eli have grown attached to it, and I may or may not feel obligated to take it with me.
No, that's not.
We won't.
He's not
We won't.
serious.